East Africa today is basically coming from a stage where it was very agro-driven. All the economies are agro-driven. Whether you're looking at Uganda, looking at Tanzania, looking at Kenya, South Sudan, that's the base. What we're beginning to see also is a lot of natural resources have been discovered. It's oil and gas in some areas. It's gas in Tanzania, oil in Uganda, oil in South Sudan, oil in Kenya.
Kenya is one of the most attractive investment destinations in Africa. And if you look at the evidence, in 2017, Kenya was the most preferred investment destination by limited partners. This was a survey conducted by the AVCA. And last year, Kenya was number 2.
The government is obviously focusing on four key pillars: manufacturing, food security, universal health care, and housing. Those are the key areas that government is giving and going an extra mile to give incentives for investors to come in to invest in those areas.
Investors are looking for yield. Investors are looking for companies to bring scale, to take it to global. And therefore, we have work to do ourselves in terms of the business environment, in terms of greater transparency in our companies, growing the domestic capital markets themselves.
Africa is a good place to do business. Kenya, the Eastern Trade Associations, the South African, the Western African, even the Mediterranean African areas. There are pockets of opportunities in all corners of the continent, and it's a good place to put money to work if you want to have a solid investment return.
We're seeing the economies also transform from being dependent in primary production to manufacturing. So that we see a lot of manufacturing. We'll also start to see a lot of intra-regional trade, so trade between the region, as opposed to the old model where countries would export raw produce.
What Kenya has an advantage of a lot of the other countries who are ahead of us, whether it is Mauritius, Botswana, Rwanda, is the size of the economy.
We're seeing a lot of innovation with the youthful population. That's very key. So that's not just an East Africa perspective, it's an Africa-wide issue.
It's kind of been the journey for me, and where I came from not knowing what to expect to now, being able to dig into different managers, different strategies, and know exactly where I can gain more opportunities and growth for my pension plan.
This year's conference, as always, has a very high quality delegates that helps you network, meet players in the industry. So the quality of delegates has been amazing in this conference.
I think this year's conference, several takeaways. One, looking at the size and quality of the participation, it is clear that there's significant appetite for investing in Africa. I think the numbers and the caliber of institutions that are represented here speak for themselves.